Hello to all the brigadiers out there who are listening today, and welcome to another episode from the Bark Brigade podcast by Doggozila Magazine.
So glad to be here to dive into this one.
Yeah, we've got a really, really important topic today. I want you to just imagine something for a second. Imagine being locked in just a perfectly silent, empty room.
Oh, that sounds awful already.
Right. You have no phone to scroll through, no books to read, no television, and absolutely no concept of time at all. You just have to sit there waiting for maybe 8 or 9 straight hours until someone finally comes back to unlock the door.
It literally sounds like an isolation experiment.
It really does. But, that is exactly what millions of dogs experience every single morning. We grab our keys, we lock the front door, and we just head off to work. We look back at those big, soulful eyes, feel that heavy pit of guilt in our stomachs, and then we leave.
Yeah, it's a profound psychological weight for the owner. And honestly, it can be deeply, deeply distressing for the dog if we aren't careful about it. We've taken these incredibly social, highly intelligent animals and brought them into our very structured, modern human lives. And we often just expect them to adapt to an empty house for a third of their day, without giving them any tools to cope.
Because they don't have the context, right?
Yeah, exactly. They don't have the context to understand why you are leaving or when you're actually coming back. To them, you're just gone.
Which brings us to the core mission of today's deep dive. We are looking at a brilliantly detailed article from Doggozila Magazine. It was written by Simon Tracy alongside their whole editorial team.
It's a fantastic piece of work. Very comprehensive.
It really is. So our goal today is to extract the absolute best, most ingenious tips from that source to keep your dog entertained, happy, and behaviorally healthy while you are away. We're talking directly to you, the listener, the loving, perhaps slightly worried pet parent who just wants a fulfilling day for your furry best friend.
Because nobody wants their dog to just be sitting there miserable all day.
Exactly. But we aren't just going to rattle off a random list of, chew toys. To make this truly actionable, we are going to build a structured daily schedule to manage playtime and rest periods effectively. We're moving organically from your morning activity preparation all the way through to your evening relaxation routines.
And that chronological approach is vital. A dog's day isn't just this massive block of empty time, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is a continuous sequence of events.
Right. It flows from one thing to the next.
Exactly. So if we want to solve the problem of daytime boredom or destructive behavior, like, coming home to a shredded couch pillow, we have to start long before you even touch that doorknob. We have to start with how the morning unfolds.
Okay, so take me into that morning foundation. The text emphasizes that a happy home alone dog is one whose basic needs for exercise, mental stimulation, and social interaction are met before the isolation even begins.
Yes, the sequence is everything.
Why is that specific sequence so critical, though? What is actually happening in the dog's body when the sun comes up?
Well, it comes down to canine evolutionary biology. Dogs, inherited from their wolf ancestors, are fundamentally crepuscular by nature.
Crepuscular?
Yeah, it's a biological term, meaning they are naturally most active at dawn and dusk. So when the sun rises and you wake up, your dog's internal biological clock is just screaming at them that it is time to move, time to hunt, to forage, patrol territory, and, engage with their pack.
Oh, wow. So they're literally hardwired to be bursting with energy right when we're groggily trying to make coffee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if we just stumble out of bed, pour some kibble in a bowl, let them out to pee for 2 minutes, and then leave for work, we are trapping all of that natural peaking morning energy inside an empty house.
Which is a recipe for disaster.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
A consistent daily schedule that balances play, training, and rest intervals allows them to burn off that peak energy effectively.
Okay, so we have to drain that physical battery. But I imagine it goes a bit deeper than just tiring out their legs. The article mentions how consistent meal and play routines reduce pet anxiety. What is the actual mechanism there? How does predictability lower their heart rate?
Think about it from the dog's perspective. They don't wear watches. Right?
Huh?
They can't check a calendar to see what day it is.
Yeah.
Their entire understanding of how the universe operates is based entirely on sequence and association.
Like event A means event B is about to happen?
Precisely. So if every morning in your house looks completely chaotic and different, maybe on Monday you rush out the door at 7 a.m., Tuesday you lounge around until 9 a.m., Wednesday they get a long walk, Thursday they just get rushed out to the yard. They live in a constant state of chronic anticipation.
That sounds incredibly stressful.
It is. It's neurologically exhausting. They never know when the good things are happening or when the terrifying isolation is coming. But when you establish a rock-solid, unwavering routine,
Hmm.
like you wake up, bathroom break, 10 minutes of training, breakfast, a specific play session, and then wind down, their brain learns the pattern.
They can finally relax because they know the script.
Exactly. They realize, after the puzzle toy comes out, my human leaves, and that means it is nap time. When a dog knows exactly what to expect, their cortisol levels naturally drop.
And cortisol is the stress hormone, right?
Yes, it's the primary stress hormone coursing through their bloodstream. They don't have to be on high alert trying to predict the future because the environment has become totally predictable.
That makes so much sense. I always compare a dog's need for routine to a human's morning coffee and commute.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Right, because if you are used to waking up, brewing your specific brand of coffee, reading the news for 10 minutes, and driving your normal route to work, you feel centered. You are ready to tackle the day. But imagine if someone randomly broke into your house, took your coffee maker away, blocked your normal highway, and forced you to take this chaotic detour through traffic. You'd arrive at your desk completely frazzled.
You'd be useless for the first 3 hours of work.
Exactly. Your stress levels would be through the roof, and your whole day would feel ruined. You wouldn't be able to focus. So for a dog, your morning routine with them is their coffee and commute.
That is a phenomenal way to put it. Disrupt that commute or, fail to establish it in the first place, and you are leaving a highly stressed, frazzled animal in your living room to fend for themselves.
Which is so unfair to them.
It is, and this is especially vital for new pet parents to understand. The article has some great basic tips for new owners to help dogs adjust to home alone time, because the first few weeks are where the biggest, most long-lasting mistakes are made.
What's the main trap new owners fall into?
It's the temptation to spend every waking second with a new puppy or rescue dog. You take 2 weeks off work, you cuddle them constantly on the couch, they follow you to the bathroom.
And then suddenly Monday morning hits.
Yes. Monday morning hits, you disappear for 8 hours, and the dog has a complete psychological breakdown. It's a shock to their system.
So what should they do instead?
For a new owner, the best tip is to start practicing your departure routine from day one, even when you have nowhere to go.
Oh, interesting. Like a fake departure.
Exactly. Put on your work shoes, pick up your keys, give them their morning puzzle toy, and just go sit quietly in another room for 20 minutes. Teach them from the very beginning that your morning routine concludes with them having a quiet, independent rest period. You're essentially building their emotional security muscle.
I do have to push back a little here, though, representing all the busy people listening right now.
Fair enough. Go ahead.
Mornings in a family household are often just pure chaos. People are getting kids ready for school, making lunches, trying to find clean socks. If I just take my dog for a quick 10-minute power walk around the block, shouldn't that take the edge off? Especially for a smaller breed like a pug or a Frenchie.
It's a very fair question, and it's a trap so many owners fall into. But the biological reality is no. A quick walk around the block is absolutely not enough.
Really? Not even for a little dog?
Not really. Physical exercise is only half the equation. Honestly, for many high-energy breeds, a 10-minute walk barely even serves as a warm-up. It would be like you doing 3 jumping jacks and calling it a full cardiovascular workout.
Okay, that paints a picture.
Right. But more importantly, a purely physical walk where you are just marching straight down the sidewalk does very little to exhaust the dog's brain. Mental exhaustion is equally necessary, if not more so, for a dog that is about to be left alone for hours.
Because if you just run them hard every morning, aren't you essentially just building a better, more athletic canine? Like you're just giving them more stamina to destroy your house later.
Precisely. You are turning them into a marathon runner. You want to engage their brain, not just their muscles.
So how do we engage the brain on a walk?
That 10-minute walk needs to be transformed into a safari.
A safari. I love that.
Yeah. It's where you let them stop and smell every single blade of grass, every fire hydrant, every tree. That forces their brain to process complex olfactory data. It's exhausting for them in a good way. Or, instead of just walking, you use 10 minutes in the living room to do high-intensity obedience training.
Just making them think.
Exactly. Making a dog think, process commands, and figure out puzzles burns an immense amount of cognitive energy. A mentally exhausted dog is a dog that desperately wants to sleep. So the morning foundation isn't just about moving their legs, it's about engaging their mind, so that when you finally lock that door, their primary biological drive is just to rest and recover.
Okay, so we've drained their physical and mental batteries. We've established a predictable, anxiety-reducing routine. But before we even think about handing them a toll and walking out the door, we have to talk about the physical space they are being left in.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is crucial.
Because if we just toss them a toy and leave, we might be leaving an exhausted dog in a room full of hidden landmines. The text from Doggozila is very explicit about reviewing essential home safety checks to protect your pet while you are out.
And this step is entirely non-negotiable. You can buy the most expensive, engaging tools on the market, but if your environment is hazardous, you are setting the stage for an expensive, heartbreaking veterinary emergency.
So we really need to look at a detailed list of common household hazards that must be removed for pet safety. And I imagine it goes so much further than just making sure the trash can is out of reach.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's get incredibly practical here. Let's start with puppies, or even just those incredibly curious, mouthy adult dogs. What are the best practices for puppy-proofing rooms to ensure safety while you work? What does a properly puppy-proofed room actually look like?
Okay, so a properly puppy-proofed room looks like a room where a mobile human toddler could be left alone safely. You do this right, you literally need to get down on your hands and knees.
Like literally on the floor.
Literally on the floor. Get down to the dog's eye level and look around. What do you see? You see electrical cords. Every single power cord needs to be tucked securely behind heavy furniture, encased in hard PVC tubing, or taped completely flat to the baseboards.
Because to them, it just looks like a chew toy.
Exactly. Puppies explore their entire world through their mouths, and a plugged-in lamp cord is a deadly chew toy.
That is terrifying. And what about the everyday objects we just leave lying around out of habit? We should list essential household items to secure before leaving pets unattended.
Let's talk about remote controls. To a dog, a remote control is fascinating. It smells heavily like your hands. It has these great squishy rubber buttons that feel amazing to chew on, and inside, it houses batteries.
Oh, no.
Yeah. If a bored dog punctures an alkaline or lithium battery, the chemical burns to their mouth, esophagus, and stomach are catastrophic, and they happen in minutes, so remotes go in a drawer, period.
That makes total sense. What else?
Shoes are another massive one. Shoes, especially ones you wear often, carry the highest concentration of your scent.
So to an anxious dog, chewing your shoe is actually a way of comforting themselves with your smell.
Exactly. It's a coping mechanism. But swallowing pieces of leather, rubber soles, or shoelaces causes severe intestinal blockages. We also need to secure small items like children's toys, coins, hair ties, and socks.
Socks. I hear about dogs eating socks all the time.
Socks are notorious. Because they smell like you, dogs will often swallow them whole. That frequently leads to a bowel obstruction that requires emergency, life-saving surgery.
It's wild when you realize how many things in a normal, cozy living room are basically hazards for a bored dog. I know the kitchen and bathroom are major hotspots too. Let's go through a checklist of home safety hazards to remove before leaving pets alone in those specific areas.
Yes, let's look at essential home safety checks to prevent accidents while away, specifically focusing on those utility rooms. In the kitchen, it's not just the trash can, though, that absolutely must have a heavy locking lid or be hidden inside a latched cabinet.
Right, that's kind of step one.
But it's also the counter edges. Did you leave a loaf of bread wrapped in plastic pushed too close to the edge? A dog that countersurfs will eat the bread, the plastic bag, and the metal twist tie.
Good point.
In the bathroom, toilet lids must be kept down. Chemical cleaners must be in latched cabinets. Some dogs will drink toilet water that has toxic slow-release bowl cleaners in it.
Oh, yeah, you don't want that.
Even window blind cords, they need to be tied up high on a cleat so a dog can't get entangled and accidentally strangle themselves if they're jumping up to look out the window. And speaking of windows, ensure your screens are heavy-duty and the actual glass sashes are locked down. Securing exits and windows is at the absolute top of the list for household safety tips to ensure a secure environment for curious dogs.
Okay, so you've puppy-proofed the electrical cords, you've secured the remotes and the socks, you've locked the trash in the bathroom doors. The article recommends one last, deliberate action. We should explain how to conduct a final safety sweep of your home right before walking out the door. How should a listener actually execute this without making themselves late for work?
It shouldn't take long at all. It should be a deliberate, habitual ritual that takes no more than 30 seconds. As you are putting your coat on and walking toward the front door, you do a slow visual scan of the room. You ask yourself a mental checklist. Are the countertops completely clear? Are all the interior doors securely shut, like the bedroom or bathroom doors you don't want them entering? Is the dog's collar safe?
Wait, their collar. Why is their collar a hazard?
This is a huge one that people miss. Some experts highly recommend removing collars with dangling metal tags while a dog is crated or left completely alone. A dangling tag can easily get caught on the wire of a crate, a floor heating vent, or a piece of furniture, causing the dog to panic and potentially choke.
Wow, I never even thought of that.
If they must wear a collar indoors, it should be a specialized breakaway collar. So you do that quick 360-degree visual scan, confirm the environment is sanitized of hazards, and then you can leave with true, absolute peace of mind.
Okay, let's unpack this concept of a clean environment for a second. How does a safe, cleared environment actively contribute to a dog's relaxation? I understand it prevents them from physically getting hurt, but does it actually change their mental state? Like, does a clean room make a calm dog?
It absolutely does, and it connects directly back to what we were saying earlier about cortisol and anxiety. Imagine a home cluttered with high-value, forbidden items. Your favorite leather shoes by the door, the trash can overflowing in the kitchen, a plate of food left on the coffee table.
Sounds stressful.
The dog's environment is full of tension. They know, from past corrections you've given them, that they aren't supposed to touch the trash or the shoes. But the trash smells incredible. So they sit there alone, literally vibrating with the internal conflict of wanting the trash and knowing they shouldn't take it.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
By completely removing the hazard, putting the shoes in the closet, locking the trash, you remove the psychological conflict. You give them an environment where the only things available to them are the things they are explicitly allowed to interact with. It simplifies their choices, which drastically lowers their cognitive load and their stress.
That is a phenomenal insight. Removing temptation removes the stress of resisting it. I love that. Okay, so we've got the physical safety completely locked down. Now we need to transition into their emotional safety. Because even in a perfectly safe, hazard-free, toddler-proofed room, some dogs just panic the second that deadbolt clicks.
Yeah, that separation anxiety can be brutal.
Exactly. We need to look at soothing environments to reduce separation anxiety during the day.
Separation anxiety is a wide spectrum. For some dogs, it's just mild whining and pacing for 5 minutes after you leave. For others, it's a full-blown panic attack. We are talking destructive behaviors, excessive drooling to the point of dehydration, and nonstop vocalization for hours.
So we need to offer calming techniques specifically for dogs showing signs of separation anxiety and explain how to help a nervous dog stay calm when left alone.
The fundamental key is understanding that when a dog is anxious, their senses, their hearing, their smell, their sight, are cranked up to an 11. Every little creak of the house settling or a delivery truck driving by puts them on high alert. We have to manage their sensory input.
The Doggozila text gives us a great framework for this. There are 3 simple ways to keep dogs busy while you are away that also act as incredibly effective, passive calming tools. These aren't, active toys you have to stuff with food. These are environmental tweaks.
Right.
The first one is utilizing the TV. The article recommends setting up calming audio like TV channels, specifically dog-centric channels like Animal Planet. Now, I always thought leaving the TV on was just a myth to make humans feel better. How does leaving a screen on actually calm a nervous dog?
It provides 2 crucial things: sensory masking and a sense of presence. When an empty house is dead silent, the contrast is stark. Every single sound outside, a neighbor's car door slamming, a leaf blower 2 blocks away, a dog barking in the distance, sounds like an immediate intrusion, which triggers the dog's alert response.
So it's basically white noise.
Yes, by leaving the TV on, you create a baseline of continuous ambient noise that drowns out those sharp, sudden external sounds. But beyond just white noise, leaving a dog-centric channel on provides visual and auditory distraction. The sounds of other animals, the gentle cadence of human voices narrating a nature documentary, it gives the dog a subconscious sense that they are not entirely alone. The environment feels inhabited.
But there's a technical nuance to that, right? You can't just leave an action movie blaring with explosion.
Exactly. A dog's hearing is incredibly sensitive. They hear frequencies we can't even perceive. If you leave the volume at the level you'd use for a Friday movie night, it will be overwhelming and highly stressful for them. You want to adjust the volume to a comfortable, low conversational level. It should be a comforting background hum, not a booming theatrical experience.
That makes total sense. Okay, the second of our 3 simple ways to create an emotionally safe space: creating a visionary world. The article recommends setting up window views, opening curtains securely to give the dog a living television screen of birds, squirrels, and passersby.
This one is fascinating, but it requires you to really know your specific dog's personality.
How so?
For a dog that is naturally curious, calm, and confident, a window view is fantastic. It engages their natural visual tracking instincts and gives them hours of passive entertainment watching the neighborhood ecology.
But what if your dog is a barker?
That's the catch. If you have a dog that is highly reactive, territorial, or easily stressed by seeing other dogs walk past their property, a window view might actually trigger massive anxiety. They will spend 8 hours barking at every shadow. But for the right dog, securely opening the blinds gives them a connection to the outside world, preventing them from feeling trapped in a box.
And the third simple way is creating cozy corners, designing a specific bed or mat area explicitly for relaxation.
If we connect this to the bigger behavioral picture, creating a cozy corner is about giving the dog a defined architectural safe zone. When a dog feels anxious, their instinct inherited from wolves is to seek out den-like enclosed spaces.
Like under a table.
Exactly. By setting up a high-quality orthopedic bed in a quiet corner of the room, maybe draping a blanket over a table to create a roof, adding a piece of warm clothing that smells strongly of you, and placing it away from high-traffic doorways, you are giving them an emotional anchor in the house.
That sounds lovely, honestly.
When the anxiety starts to build, they have a dedicated, comfortable space to retreat to, which helps ground them and prevents the anxiety from spiraling into a full panic attack. Passive engagement with the TV, combined with the security of a cozy corner, creates a deeply soothing environment.
So we've managed their morning energy, we've secured the physical space from hazards, and we've set up the ambient environment to soothe their emotional state. Now we finally get to the fun stuff, the gear, the engagement.
The toys.
Yes. But this isn't just about buying whatever squeaky toy is on sale at the pet store. It requires an actual ultimate toy strategy, and that means understanding chewing habits and breed needs. The text focuses heavily on traits, age, size, energy level. We have to tailor advice to match activity requirements for specific dog breeds. Let's compare activity requirements for different dog breeds to ensure specific needs are met.
It's vital. You cannot give a generic toy recommendation because a toy that is an absolute lifesaver for a Chihuahua could be a lethal choking hazard for an English Mastiff. And a simple puzzle that exhausts a Basset Hound might bore a working line Border Collie in roughly 3 seconds. We have to evaluate the dog based on their physiological traits and their historical breed purpose.
Like what they were bred to do.
Exactly. For instance, high-energy, highly intelligent working breeds, your German Shepherds, your Border Collies, your standard Poodles, were bred for centuries to do complex jobs all day long. They have an immense biological need for cognitive challenges. Conversely, heavy chewing breeds, like American Staffordshire Terriers or Boxers, have incredibly powerful jaw muscles that drive a deep biological need to gnaw and destroy resistant materials.
Let's talk about those heavy chewers first, because the article gives specific guidance there. I want to share advice from the Doggozila team on choosing toys based on chewing habits. They mention durable chew toys like Nylabones or bully sticks. But I have to ask, why is chewing so important? Why do they want to destroy things when they are alone?
Chewing is actually a profound self-soothing mechanism. It's not just about destroying things to be bad. When a dog chews on something highly resistant, the physical action of their massive jaw muscles contracting actually stimulates the release of endorphins and serotonin in their brain.
Wait, really? It's chemical?
Yes, it is neurochemically rewarding. It literally makes them feel happy and relaxed. It's their version of a stress ball or a deep tissue massage. But the safety aspect of this is paramount. We have to discuss which materials are safest for long-lasting chew toys.
What should people be looking for?
You need durable materials that withstand intense chewing habits without breaking into swallowable, sharp parts. Hard nylon bones, incredibly thick natural rubber toys, or dense single-ingredient. Natural chews like very thick bully sticks are generally safe, provided they are appropriately sized for the dog's mouth so they can't be swallowed whole.
And what should we absolutely avoid giving them while we are out?
You want to completely avoid brittle plastics that shatter into shards, thin rawhide that can get soggy and become a slimy, choking hazard, or cooked animal bones that can splinter like needles and pierce the digestive tract.
And the magazine also points to their specific guides on homemade dog chews recipes. I love a good hack. Let's detail how to build durable homemade chew toys using safe materials. What's a good, safe DIY chew that won't break the bank?
Oh, this is a great one. A fantastic, safe, and inexpensive homemade chew involves using a heavy-duty, clean cotton towel or a thick washcloth. You take the cloth and soak it in water. Or, if you want to provide extra sensory engagement, soak it in low-sodium chicken or beef broth.
Yeah.
Right. You wring it out slightly, tie it tightly into a complex knot, and then you put it in the freezer overnight until it is solid as a rock.
Oh, that's brilliant.
When you give this to your dog right as you leave, the frozen fabric is incredibly tough. It takes a long time to thaw and chew through. The cold actively soothes their gums, and the embedded flavor keeps them highly engaged. And because it's tightly woven fabric, it doesn't break off into sharp, dangerous shards like plastic would. It is highly durable and completely customizable.
I love that. Now, what about the brainiac dogs? The ones that figure out the frozen towel in 5 minutes? We need to focus on selecting safe puzzle toys for high-energy dogs. The text mentions specific commercial products like the Kong Wobbler and the Trixie Activity Flipboard. How do these differ from just a regular rubber chew toy?
Well, a puzzle toy requires active problem solving and deduction. A Kong Wobbler, for example, is heavily weighted at the bottom, kind of like a Weeble Wobble toy. The dog has to learn that they can't just chew it to get the kibble out. They have to bat it with their paws or nose at very specific angles to make it dispense food from a small hole.
It makes them work for it.
Exactly. The Trixie Activity Flipboard is even more complex. It requires them to use their nose and paws to slide flat panels or lift specific cones to reveal hidden treats. These toys force the dog to test hypotheses. Their brain goes, if I push this red lever, does food come out? No. What if I pull it? Yes.
That's real cognitive work.
It is. That trial and error scientific process is incredibly taxing on their nervous system in a very healthy way. For a high-energy dog, 30 minutes of manipulating a complex puzzle toy can tire them out more deeply than a 2-mile run.
That brings us perfectly to a very specific demographic of dogs that need a completely different strategy. We need to do a deep dive into puppies and teething. It's crucial we discuss specific needs for younger puppies versus older dogs. The article notes that senior dogs generally prefer softer toys and low-impact activities. But puppies are a whole different, terrifying ballgame.
They really, really are. With a senior dog, you are managing joint pain, arthritis, and dental fragility. A soft, plush toy to snuggle or a slow, easy lick mat smeared with yogurt is perfect. But a puppy is a growing, chaotic bundle of untamed energy with rapidly changing biology.
So true.
Specifically, we have to provide specific strategies to manage teething puppies during the workday and provide advice for managing puppy teething during extended periods alone.
Oh man, the shark phase. Listeners who have survived raising a puppy know exactly what I mean. Their needle-sharp baby teeth are falling out, their massive adult teeth are pushing through the jawbone, and their gums are practically on fire. Their biological imperative is to chew on absolutely everything in sight to relieve that intense pressure.
Everything, the baseboards, the furniture, your hands.
How do we redirect that destructive chewing into healthy habits while we are trying to work or when we are out of the house?
You have to offer them textures that provide specific, targeted relief for inflammation. That frozen washcloth trick we just mentioned is an absolute lifesaver for teething puppies. The intense cold numbs the inflamed gums, and the rough texture massages them as they chew.
So simple, but so effective.
You can also use specialized rubber puppy rings that are designed to be chilled in the fridge. But crucially, when you are leaving a teething puppy alone, you must restrict their physical access. They cannot be allowed to free roam and practice chewing on your wooden baseboards or your dining room table legs. They should be contained in a properly puppy-proofed pen or a crate with only their designated safe, cold teething items.
But we also need to interact with them when we are home to set them up for success when we leave. The article highlights focusing on gentle training techniques specifically for teething puppies during the day, and focusing on specific training games to help teething puppies learn healthy habits. What does that actually look like in practice?
It looks like teaching the trade game. Teething puppies are inevitably going to grab things they shouldn't. A shoe, a remote. Instead of chasing them around the house and ripping the item out of their mouth.
Which just turns it into a highly rewarding game of keep away.
Exactly. Or worse, it causes dangerous resource guarding. Instead, you teach them to drop the forbidden item in exchange for a high-value, safe chew toy. You are gently guiding their developing, sponge-like brain to understand the rules of the house. Chewing the remote gets me nothing but ignored, but voluntarily dropping it and chewing my rubber Kong gets me a piece of chicken.
So I know I can't just run a 6-month-old puppy on a treadmill to tire them out because of their developing joints. We have to detail calm indoor activities for puppy growth and behavior, and detail gentle play ideas that encourage healthy growth and social skills for puppies. How do I burn that frantic energy indoors without hurting them?
It's a great question, and it's rooted in anatomy. A puppy's growth plates, the soft areas of developing cartilage at the ends of their long bones, don't fully close and harden until they're a year or sometimes 2 years old, depending on the size of the breed.
So too much running is bad.
Very bad. Forced repetitive exercise like long runs on concrete or high jumping for frisbees can cause permanent crippling joint damage. So gentle indoor play is vital. We are talking about low-impact games like slow rolling a ball across the carpet for them to pounce on, or gentle games of tug that focus intensely on them learning the drop-it command. This builds their physical coordination and their social understanding of your rules without stressing their fragile skeletal system.
Okay, moving from the physical to the deeply, wonderfully mental.
Yeah.
Let's talk about engaging the mind through scavenger hunts and scent games. This is where we talk about utilizing the dog's absolute most powerful organ, their nose. The text explains how to use food puzzles to provide healthy mental stimulation, but I want to go way deeper into scent. A dog's nose is basically a marvel of nature, isn't it?
It truly is unparalleled. To put it in perspective for the listeners, a human has about 5 to 6 million olfactory receptors in their nose. A dog can have up to 300 million.
300 million.
Yes. The part of their brain dedicated to analyzing smells is proportionally 40 times greater than ours. When a dog walks into your living room, they don't just see the couch and the TV. They read a complex chemical history of everyone who's been in that room for the past week. By utilizing that absolute superpower, we can provide ultimate mental enrichment that taps into their deepest instincts.
I read this incredible fact recently that a dog can essentially smell time because they can detect the minute decay of your scent particles in the air. They know roughly how long you've been gone. That blew my mind.
It's entirely true. As your scent dissipates in the room, the concentration lowers, and they use that gradient as a biological clock.
That is just wild. The article suggests creative scent games to keep your dog sharp while you are gone. Things like hiding treats or using snuffle mats, which are fabric mats you hide kibble in, to make mealtime challenging. I love the analogy here. For a dog, doing concentrated scent work is like a human sitting down to read a dense, gripping 500-page mystery novel. They have to follow subtle clues, decode chemical information, and focus intently to find the conclusion. It tires out the brain beautifully. So let's make this highly actionable for our audience. Let's create a step-by-step guide for setting up indoor treat treasure hunts.
Let's do it. Step 1 is choosing the right motivation. You need a high-value scent. Standard dry kibble might not have a strong enough odor to keep them engaged initially. Use something pungent but healthy, like tiny pieces of freeze-dried beef liver, small bits of strong-smelling cheese, or dog-safe salmon jerky.
Okay, stinky treats. Got it.
Step 2 is managing the dog. You need to put the dog in a solid stay command or physically place them in another room while you hide the treats. They cannot watch you do it, or it defeats the purpose.
Right. Step 3 is the actual hiding. How do we do this safely? We need to suggest how to safely hide treats for scent-based scavenger hunts around the house and detail easy methods for hiding healthy treats around the home. Where are the absolute best spots?
Well, you start easy to build their confidence. Place a few pieces in plain sight right in the middle of a living room floor. Then slightly obscure them. Hide a piece behind a table leg or tuck just under the edge of their dog bed.
And as they get better at it,
As their skills improve over a few weeks, you increase the difficulty. You can roll treats tightly up inside a small hand towel, place them on the bottom shelf of a sturdy bookcase, safely away from anything breakable, of course, or tuck them inside open cardboard delivery boxes scattered randomly around the room. The absolute key is ensuring they are in safe, accessible spots. Do not hide treats near electrical cords, under heavy objects that could fall on them, or in areas you don't want them habitually exploring, like right next to the kitchen trash can.
that makes a lot of sense. And then the final step is the release. You give them a specific, excited verbal cue like find it or search, and you let them go to work as you walk out the door. If you hide 20 small treats around the living room before you leave for work, they will spend the first 30 to 40 minutes of their alone time methodically sweeping the room with their nose. It's incredibly satisfying for them.
And crucially, it burns off that initial, dangerous burst of anxiety from your departure. By the time they locate and eat the last treat, their brain is mentally satisfied, their belly has a little food, and they are ready to nap.
Now, I know some people are listening to this and thinking, this all sounds amazing, but it also sounds expensive. Buying high-tech puzzles, freeze-dried liver, orthopedic beds. But the next part of our deep dive is all about low-cost DIY and obstacle courses. You do not need to spend a fortune to enrich your dog's day. Let's share low-cost ways to entertain your dog using everyday household objects.
The beautiful truth is, dogs don't care about price tags. They don't know what you spent at the boutique pet store. They care entirely about novelty and engagement. We can easily list easy DIY toy ideas to stimulate your dog mentally while you work.
What's your favorite one?
One of the best virtually free toys is a simple muffin tin puzzle. Take a standard metal baking muffin tin from your kitchen, place a few pieces of kibble or small treats in some of the cups, and then cover every single cup with a standard tennis ball.
Oh, that's clever.
The dog has to figure out how to lift, bite, or nudge the tennis balls out of the way to get to the food beneath. It requires physical dexterity and problem solving, and it costs nothing if you already own a baking pan and some tennis balls.
Or the classic toilet paper roll puzzle. Take an empty cardboard toilet paper tube, put some smelly treats inside, fold the ends completely shut so it's a sealed package, and let them tear the cardboard apart to get the food. Yes, you will have to sweep up some soggy cardboard pieces when you get home from work, but it provides incredible, safe, destructive satisfaction for literally pennies.
Exactly. Channeling their destruction into acceptable avenues. Another incredible low-cost option is physical. We need to outline a plan to create fun indoor obstacle courses using common household items. Navigating physical challenges provides both physical exertion and mental stimulation.
How do we set that up in a standard, slightly cramped living room? What's the science behind why walking over a box makes them tired?
It comes down to a concept called proprioception.
Proprioception.
Yes, proprioception is the brain's awareness of the body in physical space. For a human, it's like when you close your eyes and can still successfully touch your nose. You know where your body parts are. Most dogs just run without thinking about where their back feet are landing. But when you build an obstacle course, lining up 3 sturdy cardboard boxes to create a tunnel, laying out couch cushions as an unstable surface they have to balance on, or balancing a broomstick on 2 stacks of books to create a small jump, they have to focus.
So they can't just operate on autopilot.
Exactly. You guide them through this course with a treat in your hand, teaching them to go over, under, and through. Stepping carefully over a broomstick forces their brain to calculate the exact position and trajectory of their back paws. That mental math is utterly exhausting for them.
That is fascinating, the mental math of walking.
Yeah.
And for the real canine Einsteins out there, the border collies, the poodles, we have a section on advanced interactive game ideas for dogs that excel at puzzle solving. What is the absolute next level?
The next level is vocabulary and working memory. You can play Find the Toy using verbal cues. Instead of just hiding food, you spend time teaching your dog the specific individual names of their toys. This is bear, this is ball, this is rope. You hold up the bear, you hide it in another room, and you tell them, go find bear. When they bring it back, you give them a massive reward. Eventually, you can put all 3 toys in a pile in the other room, ask for bear, and they have to go to the pile, mentally filter out the ball and the rope, select the bear, and bring it to you. That level of cognitive processing is astounding and will deeply, deeply exhaust a smart dog.
That is incredible, but obviously that requires you to actively train them. Which brings us to the next vital concept, training as play and activity stations. This is about incorporating deep interaction when you are home to prepare their minds for when you leave. The text suggests explaining how to teach simple obedience tricks for mental stimulation.
We humans often think of obedience training as a chore, something we do strictly to make the dog polite so they don't jump on guests. But training is actually a highly engaging interactive game for the dog. Teaching simple tricks like sit, stay, come heel, playing dead, or rolling over requires them to focus entirely on you, interpret your subtle body language, and control their own physical impulses.
But the delivery mechanism is key here, right? We must describe positive reinforcement methods to keep training sessions short and fun. The article strongly emphasizes rewarding positive behaviors with praise during training sessions. If you are stressed out, looking at your watch, and yelling at the dog to sit, it's not a fun game anymore. It's just adding stress to their day.
Precisely. Positive reinforcement creates a powerful dopamine loop in the dog's brain. Dopamine is the reward chemical. When you ask for a sit, they figure out what you want and do it, and you immediately mark that behavior with a happy, high-pitched yes and a high-value treat. Their brain registers a massive hit of pleasure.
They want to play the game.
They start wanting to offer behaviors. It becomes a puzzle they want to solve. To keep it fun, sessions should be no longer than 5 to 10 minutes. You always want to end the session while the dog is still highly engaged and having fun, not when they're frustrated, confused, and tired. Leave them wanting more.
And to keep their environment dynamic throughout the entire day while you are gone, the article suggests a brilliant spatial strategy. We want to suggest rotating through different activity stations to keep your dog focused daily. Rather than just tossing all their 20 toys into one messy basket in the corner of the room, you zone the house.
Yes, zoning the environment provides powerful context cues for the dog. You can set up 3 specific stations. Number 1, the tug toy station. In an open area, perhaps the center of the living room, you leave out rope toys and durable rubber rings. This is the high-energy interactive zone.
Okay.
Number 2, the treat puzzle station. Maybe in the kitchen on a wipeable linoleum floor, you have their food-stuffed Kongs and flipboards. This is the focused, solitary work zone. Number 3, the chew toy corner. Over by their cozy orthopedic bed, you place the Nylabones and long-lasting bully sticks. This is the calm, wind-down zone.
And the most important part of these toys is managing their availability. We must explain how rotating toys daily helps prevent boredom and destructive chewing habits. Why can't I just leave all 20 toys out all the time? It seems easier.
It's easier for you, but boring for them. It comes down to the psychology of newness, habituation, and object permanence. Dogs, very much like young human toddlers, habituate to their environment. If a brightly colored squeaky toy sits in the exact same spot on the rug for a week, it essentially becomes invisible to the dog. It blends into the background. It loses all of its novelty and value.
I see.
But if you have a bin of 15 toys hidden away in the hall closet, and you only leave 3 out on Monday, and then on Tuesday night you put those 3 away and bring out 3 completely different ones, you are constantly hacking their sense of novelty. When a toy is put away and brought back a week later to the dog's brain, it is functionally a brand new toy. It reignites their curiosity and engagement, completely preventing the profound boredom that leads them to chew your furniture instead.
That is such a simple, cost-effective hack. Rotate the stock, keep it fresh. All right, let's transition to the final major piece of this puzzle, the joy of companionship. Because let's face it, sometimes the absolute best entertainment and comfort for a highly social living being is another living being. We need to explain the benefits of professional pet sitters and organized neighborhood playdates.
There are absolutely times when all the frozen towels and puzzle toys in the world won't make up for a 12-hour workday. In those cases, bringing in professional or community help is invaluable. Doggy daycares are fantastic for providing massive amounts of socialization and physical exhaustion in a monitored environment.
But not for every dog, right?
No, definitely not. Daycare isn't for every dog. Some find a room full of 30 barking dogs deeply overstimulating. That's where professional pet sitters shine. A sitter coming to your home provides individualized one-on-one attention. They can take the dog for a structured walk, play a dedicated game of tug, and crucially, they can administer any needed medication or check on the physical well-being of a senior dog halfway through the day.
And for a free option, organized neighborhood playdates are genius. If you know your neighbor works a second shift and you work a first shift, maybe their dog can come over for an hour of supervised play in your yard. It heavily socializes them and wears them out through play. But the article brings up the ultimate companionship step, the big one, adding a sibling. We need to discuss what to consider before getting a new pup to keep your dog entertained.
This is a massive life decision and should not be taken lightly. You cannot just adopt any random dog and assume they will automatically be best friends. You have to consider matching age, size, energy levels, and personality. A hyperactive, bouncing terrier puppy might relentlessly annoy and stress out a senior, arthritic bulldog. You need a complementary match. And the introduction must be gradual, starting outside in neutral territory to prevent territorial aggression over the home.
I have to throw some heavy pushback here because I hear this logic all the time from frustrated owners. People say, my dog is tearing up the house out of boredom. I should just get a second dog to keep them busy. Isn't getting a second dog just doubling the chaos? If you have one dog eating your couch, won't you just end up with 2 dogs eating your couch together?
If done poorly, yes, you absolutely will double the chaos because dogs are incredibly proficient social learners.
Yeah.
The new dog will watch the resident dog chew the couch cushion and think, oh, this is the fun game we play here.
Exactly.
But if you match their personalities correctly, and if the root cause of the destructive behavior was pure, unadulterated loneliness and not lack of exercise, a second dog can be a miracle cure. When matched well, they entertain each other through intraspecific play wrestling, chasing, gentle mouthing. They sleep curled up together, which provides deep emotional security and warmth. A second well-matched dog can drastically reduce individual loneliness and the anxiety that stems from isolation, completely neutralizing the destructive behavior. They become a self-contained, emotionally supportive pack.
Which is a beautiful concept when it works out perfectly. Okay, let's bring this all together. We started this deep dive in the morning. We talked about waking up, meeting those biological crepuscular needs with engaging exercise and mental training. We walked through doing our 30-second comprehensive safety sweep to remove hazards. We set up the TV for ambient noise and curated the cozy corners. We hid the high-value scent puzzles, and we rotated the durable chew toys into their specific zones. Now the long workday is finally over. The key turns in the lock. What does the evening routine look like if you've done all this correctly?
If you've executed this structure, the evening reunion is vastly, wonderfully different. Instead of coming home to a dog vibrating with 9 hours of unspent, anxious energy who jumps all over you, scratches your legs, and barks frantically for an hour, you come home to a dog who has had a full, engaging, mentally taxing, and relaxing day.
They're just happy to see you.
Yes, they will be absolutely thrilled to see you, yes, but the energy is manageable. The evening naturally transitions into a relaxed bonding period. Maybe you take a calm evening walk, eat your own dinner in peace, and then enjoy a relaxed game of tug-of-war on the living room floor while watching TV. You are re-engaging with a balanced, satisfied animal.
And I want to leave everyone with a final provocative thought that builds on everything we've discussed today. We spend so much time and effort carefully curating our dog's solitary environment, hiding the treats to engage their olfaction, setting up the complex puzzles, rotating the toys so they don't get habituated, ensuring they are mindful and engaged throughout their lonely day. But if we put that much intentionality into curating a healthy, balanced, mentally stimulating environment for our dogs, does preparing this daily enrichment actually end up teaching us how to be more present and intentional in our own daily routines? Are we learning human mindfulness by trying to build canine mindfulness?
That is a deeply fascinating question to leave them with. It really forces us to reflect on our own environments, our own chaotic mornings, and our own mindless habits.
Exactly. Something for all of you to chew on, pun intended, the next time you are quietly stuffing a rubber Kong with peanut butter at 6 a.m. For more in-depth information, visit the original source article by Doggozila Magazine at doggozila.com and get in touch if you have any questions or want to tell us the next episode's subject.